You've probably heard this. If you network enough, someone will eventually reply. But more outreach doesn't mean more responses. It usually means more rejection. I've worked behind the scenes at Meta. I've built teams. I've helped thousands of professionals rewrite the way that they get noticed. And the people who actually get job offers don't play the volume game. They know how to write one DM that cuts through the noise. And today I'm going to break that down for you right now. If you've ever sent a LinkedIn message that got a reply from someone important and even landed you a big role at some point, tell us about it in the comments below because I want to see them. Now, the biggest reason that people get ghosted on LinkedIn is because they open with a need instead of value. They send messages that scream, "I want something from you." And the second that you say, "I'd love to pick your brain," you've already lost. These lines create invisible resistance. They subconsciously tell the person, this is going to be work for you. This is going to cost you time and energy. The science behind this is really simple. Psychologists call it reactance, and that's when people feel their freedom is being restricted and they instinctively pull away. When your first message feels like a request, the other person's brain immediately calculates the cost. How much time will this take? What's the risk? Do I owe this person anything? And the easiest solution is to ignore you. But the people who actually get responses lead with value. They don't come across as a pitch. They come across as an equal peer. High trust candidates know this secret. The fastest way to get somebody's attention is not to ask for something. Instead, it's to offer something. They study the person's profile, they reference specific work, and they connect through a shared context. And they make the first DM feel really easy to answer instead of a chore. And that's why you need to use the value-forward message structure. There's a simple framework that consistently gets responses, and it's called comment, bridge, ask. So let me walk you through exactly how to do this. Step 1 is to comment. So start your DM by commenting on something specific that the person shared. This could be a post, an article, a podcast episode, or a company announcement. But it has to be real. It has to show that you've done your homework. So for example, I read your recent post about transitioning into product management, and your take on cross-functional skills really stuck with me. That's specific. It proves that you paid attention. The next step is to bridge. This is where you're going to briefly introduce who you are and why you're reaching out, but keep it to 1 to 2 sentences max. So for example, I'm pivoting into product management after 5 years in marketing, and your story really resonated with me. And the last step is to ask. Make a single specific ask that's easy to say yes to. Not, "Can I have 15 minutes of your time?" That's a really heavy lift. Instead, ask something thoughtful and low stakes. If you were starting your transition over, what's one skill that you doubled down on early? When you follow this structure, your message stops feeling like a cold pitch and starts feeling like a real conversation. You show that you're thoughtful, you show that you respect their time, and you make it easy for them to say yes. But even the best written DM dies in the wrong inbox. And this is why most people completely misfire. They craft a thoughtful, value-driven message, but they send it to somebody who can't or won't help them. A lot of job seekers make the mistake of chasing recruiters. They think that recruiters are the gateway to opportunities. But recruiters are not there to hand out chances. They're there to fill specific roles that are already open. And if you don't exactly match one of those roles, your message often goes straight into the archive. Others are going to blast messages to C-level executives, thinking that they're going to get noticed if they aim high. But most executives barely check their LinkedIn inbox. Really, think about it. And when they do, they're not prioritizing messages from strangers with no prior connection. These DMs fall through the cracks because they were never meant for those inboxes. That's why the people who succeed don't aim randomly. They treat outreach like strategic matchmaking, and they look for the people most likely to care and most likely to respond. And these people aren't recruiters or VPs. They're often professionals just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you or akin to where you are. This is why you need to start with warm proximity. So reach out to second-degree connections, alumni from your school or former colleagues, people who already share some sort of trust bridge, even if it's indirect. You should also prioritize people who have made the exact pivot that you're trying to make. So for example, if you're moving from marketing to product management, look for people who've made that same shift in the last 1 to 2 years. These people remember what it's like to be in your shoes. They're more empathetic, they're more available, and often more willing to help because the experience is really fresh to them. But it's not just about finding the right people. You need to target people who are actually active. A beautifully written DM sent to somebody who hasn't touched their LinkedIn in months is kind of a dead end. Use LinkedIn's filters to find people who posted in the last 30 days who are consistently engaging on the platform. And before you DM them, start by commenting on their posts for a few days. And what this does is it warms them up. It makes your name familiar. So when your DM lands in their inbox, you're not just another cold stranger. Instead, you're a name that they've already seen. And most importantly, you need to shift from volume to precision. So forget about sending 50 DMs a week. Focus on sending 1 high-quality DM per day. This forces you to be intentional, and it gives you the space to personalize every message. And over time, it compounds into real relationships, not just random outreach. But even if you've written the perfect DM and you've sent it to the perfect person, there's still one more place where most people fail. You see, most job seekers either give up too early or follow up the wrong way. They send one message, they don't hear back, and they assume that they've been rejected, or they circle back with a lazy, robotic line like just following up or just checking in. And this comes across as desperate, impersonal, and worst of all, annoying. And when you follow up like this, you're not adding value. You're just reminding them that you still want something. And their brain, once again, calculates the cost. Do I owe this person a response? And when the answer is no, you get ignored. Others go silent entirely and they miss the window to build momentum because real relationships aren't built in one message. They're built over time with small, thoughtful touches that show that you're serious, that you're engaged, and that you're genuinely interested in the other person's world. We're just getting into the tactical stuff, but if you've ever been ghosted after sending what you thought was a really great message, tap the subscribe button. I'm sharing more step-by-step strategies like this all the time, and I want to make sure that you get them. Now, the people who succeed know how to follow up like a professional. They don't nag, they nurture. They don't repeat the same ask. They move the conversation forward with new insights, new resources, and new reasons to stay connected. And if you don't get a reply, your first follow-up should come 3 to 5 business days later, and it should add value. You could send them something relevant to their interests. For example, I came across this article on the future of product management, and it made me think of your recent post. I thought you might find it interesting. This isn't a nudge, it's a contribution. If they liked your message or they viewed your profile but didn't reply, then you need to try a pattern interrupt. You can call it out with curiosity. Hey, total shot in the dark here. Did I completely miss the mark? Or is this something you might be open to chatting about down the road? This removes the pressure. It makes you sound human, and sometimes that's exactly what breaks the ice. If they do reply, your instinct might be to immediately push for a call. Resist that urge. Keep the thread alive first. Ask thoughtful follow-up questions, so stay curious about their experience. For example, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm curious, what was the hardest part of your transition? If you were doing it again, what would you approach differently? That deepens rapport. In a nutshell, your follow-up should always feel like you're building a partnership. You're not just looking for a one-time ticket to a job, you're building trust that compounds over multiple conversations. Stay visible. Keep showing up in their comments. Offer relevant ideas. Be the person who's genuinely engaged instead of the person who's just waiting for a reply or wants something for somebody. If you want to skip the guesswork and build a career search strategy that actually lands offers, I want to personally invite you to book a free consultation with us. I've helped thousands of professionals navigate career transitions, secure life-changing roles at companies like Tesla, Twitter, Pixar, and Salesforce, and it's all through my unique system combining one-on-one coaching and premium networking strategies. It's a customized roadmap built for you with me and our team in your corner. And just like our other clients, from VPs to career pivoters, you can start seeing results faster than you think. Tap the link on your screen or in the description box below, and let's start building your next career win together.